What's up, Neil?
Hey, Cal.
Are you a skater boy?
Total skater boy. Is this Avril Lavigne?
It sure is. Yes, it is.
She's one of the best.
Yes.
So here we are, Season 2, Episode 7. Wow, already 7. And we have a very special guest, my daughter, Elaina.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
So, stepdaughter, but we've never said that.
No,
so
never.
You've been my daughter for over 20 years now. We just had...
Can't believe it's been that long.
I know. Me and your mom just had our 20th anniversary on 1/2/3, January 23rd, 2004. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, you were 8 years old, and I remember actually one of our guests on earlier this season, Deho, was our DJ.
Yep.
And he brought a karaoke machine. I remember you actually singing during our...
Oh, yeah, that was my jam.
Yeah.
If I could have been a singer when I grew up, you asked me then, that's what I would have said. But
yeah,
my voice isn't the best.
No.
So I think that's one of the
And
qualifications
over those
you
20
need to have.
years, I have to agree, your voice is not the best.
It's not at all.
I'll be the first to admit I'm horrible. We've mentioned it a few times. Neil actually is a very well-renowned singer.
Yes.
What was the award you received once?
Choir Student of the Month.
Oh, wow.
7th grade,
Yeah.
Scranton Middle School,
Yeah.
Brighton, Michigan.
Wow.
Choir
Very
Student of the Month.
well-renowned singer.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's where the accolades stop.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I still think I have a...
How's it developed over the years?
I still think I have a lovely singing voice, a lovely singing voice for all of those. Okay, all right, I'll stop.
Very lovely. Voice of an angel. they say.
Yep. Sing on.
So, since we were, well, I was going to say, so season 2, actually pretty deep in, but we've talked about getting you on very early on. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously, Kennedy and Avery, you've already been on.
Yeah.
But you've been pretty busy over the last couple of years,
Just
haven't
a
you?
little bit. Yeah, just a little busy.
Yep.
Just
So,
a tad.
Yeah.
I am a grandpa,
Yep.
times 2, so... but finally, we found some time.
I know.
And
It's
here
about
we
time.
are.
Yeah. 2 under 2 is fun.
Yeah, well,
Lots of time.
yes, I will say.
Sure. Been busy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a job. You know, it's a fun one. It's rewarding. You know, obviously,
Yeah.
here we are. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. But that reminds me of the wedding.
Yeah.
We have to mention your wedding, right? Neil, you were there.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wonderful
it
wedding.
was a full Arabic wedding, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And one, just the kind of the party at the house before we even get to the venue, and
Yep.
you have the drums and the
Yep,
What
yeah.
is the?
It's called the Zephyr.
I would call the flute, but the.
Oh, yeah. I actually don't know what that instrument is technically called, but
To me, it's a flute.
yeah, it's something along the lines
It
of
almost
a flute.
looks like a recorder.
Yeah.
You know, like not much more,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. Just
Yeah.
been walking down the street with the drums, but then we get there, and the drums. There was like 5 or 6 drummers. The
Yep.
bass. There was actually pyrotechnics. You know, there was
Yeah.
there was like flames and fireworks at one point.
It was loud.
And then the singer.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's voice.
Yeah.
Coming from that man was unbelievable. I'll never forget talking to Uncle Paul. He's like, that was the most fun I think I've had at a wedding ever. He goes, and I think that one guy sang the same song for 45 minutes straight.
Yeah.
But
They have to,
Right?
right?
But it's
They
so
have
awesome.
to. And the funny thing is they pretty much have the same songs at every single wedding. So that singer that we had at my wedding is actually really known in the Dearborn community. That's where I pretty much been born and raised. But if you have him at your wedding, it's like the real deal. So we made sure like he was number one that we booked, other than the venue, other than anything else. And then we kind of went based off of his schedule for the
And-
wedding.
And the beauty of it was you had all this traditional,
Yep.
you know, the music and everything else. But then we also had, what were some of the songs that were played?
Oh my God, we played.
I want to say there was an actual Lil Wayne song at one
There
point.
there was. We played like Young Thug and so many like rap music, and and all of those things, and it really did mesh well. Typically by the end of the night, a lot of the crowd, from what I saw in the past, before my wedding that is, everyone would kind of be gone by that time. So you would play all of these these types of music, and nobody would really mind, right? But at my wedding, everybody stayed, it seemed like. So it was really interesting to see
But no one left the dance floor.
No.
You know, like no one was offended. No one left the dance
My
floor.
grandma was dancing, you know, and it was like, okay, do you even know what you're dancing to? But
that's also like any wedding, you know. Like it's always like the first hour they play the song, you know, some of the oldies, you know, and then people trickle out, and then that's where the party really starts. But that party went from beginning to end, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was nonstop.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was so
nonstop.
much fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
It was a good time.
So, speaking of music and good times, do you remember what your first show was?
My first show was the Dixie Chicks.
Wow. Now just the Chicks, but yes, the Dixie Chicks.
Yep, the Dixie Chicks.
They'll always be the Dixie Chicks.
See, I don't know how I ended up there.
Who'd you go
really
with?
Don't. I went with my Aunt Angie.
Oh, okay.
Who's my Uncle Ollie's wife.
Yep.
She took me with her friend at the time, and Amira, who's my cousin, and her friend's daughter had a daughter the same age. So we all went there. It was at Joe Louis Arena. I had to look this up because it was like an epiphany that I had of like, what was the first concert that I went to? And I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, I went to the Dixie Chicks. I don't really remember the show itself, but I mean, my aunt said it was a good time. So I had to text her and ask.
I mean, it's not a bad first show probably
to
see, you know, like musically
it's
and
probably
everything.
really respectful, you know,
yeah,
just really nice.
Like, they
And
play
how old were you?
instruments and...
I was 11.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So it wasn't too long after that me and your mom took you and Kayla to Pine Knob,
Yep.
was DT at the time,
Yep.
for Avril Lavigne.
To see Avril.
That was why we had the play-in.
Yeah.
But I believe that was the first show that we took you to.
Yeah. For a long time, I actually considered that my first concert just because I actually liked her music and I was excited for her show.
Yeah,
I was actually genuinely excited. Right. So that I would technically consider my first one.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And
it was a great time.
And she had to have been like 22 at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, she got big really early. And I mean, she's still out there. She's touring this year.
Yeah.
She's doing like her
I saw that.
Or whatever.
She jams.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't
We
believe
could
she's
get the
still in
band
the
back
business.
together.
But yeah, you never know. Maybe we'll see if Kayla wants to go. The whole crew going.
There you go. But I will never forget this. So we actually had the seats in the pavilion because we figured, you know, you guys were maybe 12, 13 tops.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so we're in the seats, and then there was this lady, probably about 10 years older than me and your mom, I'd say. And she had some younger kids. And me and your mom were trying to figure out how we're going to go get beer and whatever. And she's like, you guys go ahead. I'll keep an eye on them. We're like,
all right.
Okay. Don't talk to strangers, but this lady's going to want you guys.
Yeah, don't talk to strangers.
We'll be right back.
And we probably said, if she tries to touch you, just run to a cop. You know? But no. So kind of a questionable parenting thing, you know. But I do remember it was a really good show.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, she's obviously Canadian. So anytime, you know, they're in the Detroit area, they have huge representation. So, like, Pine Knob was packed for this thing. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, she was good from what I remember.
Yeah. And
I would not mind seeing her again.
No, I think it'd be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I think Erin's going. I think she already had tickets.
I think, actually, she's going with Kendall and Kayla.
I think so.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I think I saw that on Facebook.
It might be in Cleveland, though.
Yep.
If I remember right.
Yeah. Somewhere in Ohio.
So, you were one of our biggest supporters, obviously, from day one. Remember when
of course.
You actually set up our Instagram account?
I did, and it was linked with my Facebook for quite some time, I may add.
Blasting stuff out there and be going right to her like personal Facebook for everyone to see. Two dudes.
Involved these two dudes.
Well, the thing is, I always say, old man with text, so I'm trying to figure it out. And I clearly remember I had a button. I'm like, yeah, and then just didn't even think anything of it. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's going. You're like, I thought I turned that off. I'm like, no, I think I had a button. You're like, no, it was me. I'm like, no, I totally know it was me, but okay. I'm not going to fight
Cal's
you.
just clicking through the motions. He's just trying to get to the next screen.
I just don't even know
keep
how
going.
to do anything.
Let's go.
I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah, we figured it out, though, eventually. You had to make your own Facebook and
Facebook, mother effing
all of
master.
that. Finally got you on social media after all these years. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I always had LinkedIn, because whatever.
Nah.
But then
It's not really social media, I don't feel like.
Totally, it's turned into that. It's ridiculous.
Has it?
Yeah, it's insane.
See, I'm not really on.
And I'm like,
I have
sometimes
one,
like
but-
people that they're arguing,
You haven't been on it
politics
recently.
and crap, and it's like, why are you doing this?
I keep
shit?
it professional
Like, yeah.
on LinkedIn, to say the least.
Yeah. We have, the Two Dudes page.
Yeah.
So like I'll always post like any videos or, upcoming shows to that, and then I'll just like reshare from my normal one. 'Cause,
Yep.
it's my job too, right?
Yeah.
But that was actually when I first started, like this little sweet spot, because it's a lot of people around my age. We talk about a lot of music that everyone remembers and shows. And I mean, the LinkedIn company page is at like 616 followers. And
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm almost at 3,000, so LinkedIn's been a nice little place where to spread the word. But then it was like once I hit Instagram's hard. So I'm trying to figure that out, and I'm realizing more pictures, less videos.
Yeah.
And then, but once I started
Yeah.
Facebook, that's when, started. But it was really the Two Dudes and Live Tunes group.
That is actually
I love that.
Really
But
good.
I started on Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook is great. You weren't on there for a little bit.
No,
and,
forever.
you were missing a whole.
No, and it's so funny because
Whole
your
thing.
mom still won't be my
Your friend.
on Facebook. I think she's following me now, but she follows the Two Dudes and she follows the Two Dudes and Live Tunes group. So that's just like, there's like 315 followers there, but that's anyone can join, and then people post their videos or pictures from shows they went to, and upcoming shows that people maybe don't know about. Tickets going on sale. So it's actually
nice to have.
Yeah, I like that too, because I was going on these other groups and I'm like putting free content on their groups. I'm like, start my own.
Yeah. No, you have to be on all platforms.
Absolutely.
So you're doing it right. You are doing it right.
So, what is it? I mean, we'll get into some of the other shows we've seen and that, but what is it about the live shows that you keep going back for? Because you've been to quite a few when you actually write them down,
Yeah, I have.
You don't realize it.
And I was trying to remember all of the shows that I've been to, and I actually may forget some. But needless to say, like, I think overall it's going to be the experience, just being there. I mean, depending on who you go see, the crowd is fun. It's just, and just seeing the artist really enjoy what it is that they're doing. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It makes you emotional.
Yeah.
When I see like
You connect with it.
Oh yeah, and I especially like the smaller venues for that specific reason, because you feel the energy, you feel the crowd enjoying it just as much as you are. Everyone's just there for a good time, and the artists, typically if it's a smaller venue, either they're older artists or they're just up and coming, so they really put their heart and soul into it, because either they're on the way out or they're just entering. So that's what I enjoy.
I think I really like your answer, because that reminded me of the show me and Neil just went to, Porno for Pyros.
Yeah. See, I don't know that. I don't know who that band is.
So
but
Jane's Addiction, you've probably heard Ben Custody. So it's the same lead singer and drummer.
Okay.
So Jane's Addiction went on hiatus in like the early 90s, and then they started this band.
Oh, okay.
And then with guitarist, I always screw up his name, but Peter DiStefano. And then on bass is Mike Watt, who's one of 2 or 3 that played with him. Yeah. And he's like one of the best bass players ever. But it was at the Fillmore, super small, their farewell tour.
Yep.
And it was awesome. And the one thing I recall...
It was unreal.
It was absolutely unreal. We were literally like second row, so close. But the one thing I remember about it was what you said, is the artists were having a blast.
Yeah.
Right.
And when they are, the energy in the crowd just is that way.
All the difference, that right there. Instead of it just being another show that they got to complete on their tour, they're exhausted.
And it was their farewell tour, so sometimes, like they'll phone it in or whatever. But actually, this was postponed. It was supposed to be in October, but they basically ticket sales might not have been there, but they said they weren't ready. They wanted some new material. So, but they did relaunch it, a little more scaled down.
Yeah.
But Detroit was always one of them.
Yeah.
And they had 2 brand new songs. They ripped through like 17 total, and it was awesome. I'd never seen them before. I've seen Jane's Addiction a couple of times. I love Perry Farrell. And, just to see him, knowing that, the guy's 64.
Yeah,
you
wow.
know, like those people that we grew up with when they're college,
Are still
high school
on
and
stage,
college.
just doing the damn thing.
We're
and it's
old
like,
as hell. Some of these people,
Unreal.
and he was like one
Yeah.
of the first ones in like the, call it mid to later 80s, like where it was hair metal and stuff, where
Yeah.
it was kind of that bridge before you got to alternative
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Them and the Chili Peppers really were
Yeah.
2 of the big ones out of LA. So what did you think of the show? Because I just get in the zone at a show. And
No.
I have my own experience.
Well, yeah, you enjoy. You're
kinda-
trying to enjoy every second.
Yeah, to kind of back up Elaina, like the passion that
With the one
all
Porno
musicians
for Power
have.
specifically.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
for
then-
you, what did it for you? Like, you said it was like awesome. It was special.
I
Like,
couldn't believe how well they sounded for one.
Mhm.
Because I thought that maybe Perry being a little bit older and,
Yeah.
And it was
I've
three
seen
nights-
Understandably so,
Right.
They
if
were
that
the
was
third
the
night in
case.
a row, too.
and I've seen some,
Wow.
yeah, right. I've seen
Wow.
some
And he's got a
videos,
very powerful,
right, where he maybe didn't sound so good. And I could not believe how good they sounded.
Mhm.
And like you mentioned, the Mike Watt, the bass player, and then just them collaborating with each other
yeah, it was good.
at that age.
Yeah, it was,
Amazing.
And then the other one on the flip side that you mentioned is catching them early,
Yeah.
kind of on the ground floor.
Right.
And I know you have
Yep.
a pretty good one that is
I do.
just like
I
a
do.
huge star now, right?
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, fortunately for him, unfortunately for his, OG supporters. But yeah, I actually saw The Weeknd at the Fillmore,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all general admission in 2013. This is when you would bring up his name, and people were like, "Who? Who the hell is that?"
You said that. I'm like, what?
Nobody
I
knew.
honestly didn't hear about the weekend
I
till
tried
like 4
getting
years ago.
Yep, I tried getting my mom to
Seems like
listen
I'm
to
Super
him.
Bowl.
I
Yeah.
remember back in the day pulling up like his trilogy album, which was his first album, and her being like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Mom,
Sometimes
it's
you-
so good.
Sometimes
It's
you got to
so
give it a few
good."
full listens.
Yeah.
But it was just the thing that I loved about The Weeknd, and I'm still a fan of his. I won't go see him again personally, just because I've seen him at that intimate level where.
It's hard sometimes. If you're not,
never gonna-
if you don't
It won't
absolutely
be
love
the
that
same.
No.
band,
Yeah.
it's hard to go see them after you've been in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
especially when there's so many other options.
and I've actually seen him twice. But that first time was absolutely amazing. We were like maybe 5 rows back. He had nothing on stage with him. It was just him standing with a microphone, and he was just singing. And it
those are
was
the best shows.
And
it
where
was
this at?
the Fillmore.
Fillmore? Oh,
It
no.
was hands
okay,
down the
okay.
best show I've ever seen.
Wow.
But that type of music that he was doing back then was my favorite too. A little dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the one song that was really popular that you guys might know is Wicked Games off of that album.
Mhm.
That's what really made him big.
Yeah.
Once it got on the radio, it was like, shoo, no more.
And then,
Good song, yeah.
So-
then you saw them in Toronto.
I did. I saw him with Janae Aiko and Schoolboy Q in Toronto.
I know.
Yep.
I know the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Toronto.
Janae Aiko is actually
Schoolboy Q sounds
she's
sweet.
amazing. If you guys get a second to just look her up, her voice is just so beautiful. Very
thrilled.
peaceful singer.
Uh-huh.
So she gives you like all the feels.
Right.
She's just like that type of person.
I love
I
it.
really like her a lot.
I mean, like when I was younger, there's a lot of times I would just walk in right before the main act started.
Yeah.
Now going to more and more shows, I'm the guy that's getting there early.
Yeah.
Seeing the opening bands. Like for Porno for Pyros, we saw Tiger Cub. They were out of England. It's just a 3-piece band. Guitar, bass, drums. I mean, I thought they were pretty good. I liked them.
They're pretty sweet.
Musically, they were good. I like the kind of the melody of the song. Like,
Yeah.
I don't hear words really.
Yeah.
To me, like, and that's the other thing I wanted to ask. Like, when you see a live show, for me, like I said, I kind of get in a zone. I might focus on the drummer for a while, and then like the voice just becomes an instrument.
Yeah.
The bass, you know, and like I kind of focus and move, so I don't really pay attention to the words.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like, oh my god, I love this
Like
song.
the mechanics
And then
of all of it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all, and how it all works together.
Yeah,
And like,
it's amazing.
Like I was mesmerized by Mike Watt. I mean, he sat down the whole time playing that bass, and like there was a certain part in a song that until that night I always thought it was a bass line and then the guitar played the next part, but no, it was him doing it all, and I was like,
Wow.
holy crap! It was such a unique sound for me, you know, like whatever, like I don't know shit about music, but you know,
I mean-
but it was like, so I kind of
For you
focus
to
on
notice
that,
that,
like,
though.
and I know some
Captured
people
your
are
attention,
like focused
so they're
on,
doing
like,
something right.
right, but they're like focusing on the music, like
Yeah.
the lyrics or that. Like for you, what do you kind of do when you're
So for more intimate venues, I kind of do the same thing where I just I literally just watch
almost observe?
the singer. I observe it. I notice like how they stand, what they're doing, are they fidgeting, like weird things like that. Just because I feel like it kind of just pulls it all together and it just makes them more real.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Dang.
like especially with The Weeknd, like I knew every single word when I went to go see him, so I was just singing, bawling, and just like, zoned in. Like my friend Chelsea was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Don't talk to me right now." This is like I was obsessed with him at that point. So
Dude, that's rad.
just seeing that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so close
Seeing
is just
one of your favorites like that in
Yeah.
that setting is I mean,
nothing beats
nothing
it.
beats it.
Nothing beats it.
What about you, Neil? When you're at a show, like when you're watching, observing, or what?
Kind of echoing you, but I definitely the drum,
Yeah.
the drummer.
Yeah.
I like to just see where the beat is, you know, obviously anything out of that, and then of course the singer. Who
Yeah.
cannot look at the lead singer? So,
Yeah.
but it
Absolutely.
would be the singer. Probably.
I know that was the best. I mean, we were right in the front of Perry Farrell that whole time. It was amazing.
Yeah. There's nothing that beats experiences
No.
like that.
So the one thing I'm throwing it out there, we have a thing we call our Forever Five.
Yeah.
On the show here.
Yeah.
And the premise of it, you're on a deserted island. You have 5 artists or bands, whatever. You have their entire catalog. So if you look at them on Spotify, everything that you can download, you have that.
Yeah.
But only 5.
Yeah. That's a
You
really
know,
hard question.
Yeah,
So-
it's so hard
really
that
hard.
it's so
Yeah.
hard that
I'm
I've
throwing
never
that
even
out
had
there
one.
now.
Yeah.
And we'll come
I have
back to it.
3.
If you don't answer, that's fine too.
I mean, I was thinking about this. So
Right.
I do have my answers, but it was really hard. It was really, really hard.
So you want? I mean,
Can your
Yeah.
can your Forever 5 be yours? I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking particularly, and then it change 5 years from now. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like it.
Yeah.
I told
totally can
Aaron-
change.
Right now, it would be.
Right.
it's a dynamic
yeah.
list. I mean,
Yeah.
I told
So-
Aaron I wouldn't hold it to you 5 minutes from now because I
Right.
mean,
It's
you know, I question
rad.
mine.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll run through mine real quick. I mean, I've already said them, but it's Smashing Pumpkins, Ben Harper, Wilco, Lou Reed, and then Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And it took me like 2 months from the time we talked about it with Maxie to actually think about it, and then I
Yeah.
did the special. And I know when we talked with Maxie on season 1, episode 4, you just kind of spit out a few, which I mean, it's kind of easy, but then when you sit, it's harder when you sit.
When you
and think
sit and
about
think
it.
about it, and you're like, okay, but really.
And that's what some of the comments were like, wow, this is really hard. So
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
come up with. So I'd
I
be
did.
interested to hear that now.
So definitely Coldplay will always be on that list for me.
There you go.
I really like them.
We've got high up.
So Neil, you've seen him at least once or twice. Twice.
I can't wait
And then
to
me and,
see
Coldplay's-
them.
me and your mom
Coldplay
went
is
from
awesome.
Cleveland, but that was
Yeah.
like almost 8 years ago.
Yeah, the closest I got was me and Moose went to a wedding in Chicago a couple years ago, and we were at in the hotel room, and I could hear Coldplay playing, and I'm like,
They were at so
Mustafa, I hear Coldplay, and he's like, you're insane, and I'm like, no, like I hear them, and I'm staring out of the window, and I'm like, there's no way, like I hear them. And I look over and I'm like, what's that over there? I could see lights. And he's like, holy shit. That's that during
it's
concert.
Soldier Field.
We looked it up and I was like, are you kidding? They're literally right there and I'm not there.
You know who?
You know
was
how
there?
heartbroken I was?
Adam Pickler was there.
I
You said it was a couple years. I just posted a video of Higher
Yeah.
Power,
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
I know you did. That's
and it was
I
from
love that song.
Pickler. like
That's
2
as
years
close as
ago
I
or
got.
whatever. That's Soldier Field.
Eventually.
That is an awesome story, Elaine.
Eventually,
hilarious.
I'll make it there. And actually, Coldplay "Yellow" is our wedding song.
Yes, that's right.
Moose.
Yeah.
That was our wedding song.
Pretty good
and
song.
they're the one. That was another thing that came up. Band that you never really caught on when they first were around,
Yeah.
popular, but over time, and
Yeah.
Coldplay
They
was
just
mine.
got better. Yeah, aged
I
like
remember
fine wine.
You're right, but I remember hearing the songs on the radio. But I'm like, you're indifferent. But then
I
once
bought that CD, and
it was Pickler. I know it too. Like once you see a band live, sometimes that can change everything.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
And when me and your mom went, I love Coldplay. I'll admit it till
Yeah.
the day
Yeah.
I die.
They're great.
There's so many, you go to a Coldplay
They're
concert,
great.
though, one, you're going to know like every damn song because they play them all the
so
time.
funny.
You know what I mean?
And if you don't, you're going to feel it in your bones regardless.
Right, and if you don't have fun,
So
then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It's like almost
If you don't
any
have fun,
concert.
you're a loser. I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
If
Loser.
you're at Coldplay,
Right, exactly. There's like memes out there
Loosen up
like
a bit.
why are you listening to Coldplay? I'm like, fuck off.
Coldplay's I can't stand the gatekeepers. Like, they suck. Like, okay, I like them.
I love them.
And right. Yeah, but then that guy
I'll stand
probably
by that.
loves fucking
Too.
100%. I'll fucking get tickets every single time they're in town.
Yeah, I actually looked it
Problem
up.
is
They're
they don't-
overseas right now.
Yeah,
I was trying to see if we could go. I was willing to
You know,
travel
it
across
seems
the
like
U.S., but
some
I
of
can't
the
go to
bigger
Europe right now.
acts- Some of the bigger acts seem to be skipping Detroit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh well.
The Weekend would be the second one for
Weekend,
me,
okay.
but old Weekend, not now.
But
like
that's-
Starboy
but-
Weekend.
Well, that's the thing is, so yeah, you have that part of the catalog, which that's your anchor,
Yeah.
your base. But
Yeah.
then you're gonna have all the new stuff,
yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, I'm sitting here on this
I
island.
could
guess
live
I'll,
without the new
you know.
stuff, but if I have
you
to listen
it.
to it, I will. Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just you could tell that, like mainstream. He got a little too mainstream, and it hurts me to say that, but it is what it is.
Right.
Sometimes that happens
And-
to artists, and it
And
just
like Smashing Pumpkins are one of
Yeah.
mine. I mean, their last like 3 album set, is it great? No, but I mean, I'll
still
listen to
support.
it. No, and
Yeah.
you know
Right.
what? And there's plenty of songs on it that
Yeah.
I like, but there's 33 songs.
Yeah.
And over time I might grow to like more and more of them.
Right.
But it's like they're still doing it.
Yeah.
They're still
Gotta
pumping
be
out
happy for
records,
'em.
and it also goes back to that argument of, oh man, I love them, but I wish they always sound the same, and then they do something different. It's like, man, I
Everyone's
wish
pissed.
they're
Yeah.
pissed. I wish they'd sound
Yeah.
like they did on those earlier albums.
Right.
Well, it's like you can't have both,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
People got to evolve,
Well,
and I get that.
and that's
but
I think where technology hurts too,
Yeah.
though, because if I would have went out and bought a 3 album set and had to play it, like I would listen to every single song
Yep.
over and over on both sides,
Yep.
all 3 albums, and eventually you grow to like these songs.
Yeah.
You don't fall in love with songs necessarily right away.
Right.
Yeah. It
No,
takes
not
time,
at all.
and right.
There's plenty of songs that
But
Yeah,
now
you
I
have to
think are my
listen a few
most
times.
favorite songs. I'm like, I
Nowadays-
didn't like it when I
I-
first heard it.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I just download all 3 albums to my phone, and you listen to them one time through. And I'm like, oh, I only like 6 of them. Well, you didn't even give any of them a chance.
Yeah. You have to actually sit and listen
Absolutely.
a few times. Yeah.
That's why it was always like our rule on road trips.
Well,
You go somewhere, you pick a CD, and you listen to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every song. I mean, some of them suck, but then eventually
Yeah.
you get razzed so much about your shitty choices. John Mayer.
Yeah.
That sister of yours.
now I get it.
Who else you got?
The Backstreet Boys.
Nice. Okay.
I'm a diehard fan until
right.
the day I die.
Backstreet's
There's
back
nothing
again.
wrong with that.
Backstreet
That's
Boys.
your Forever 5, and I'm not
Yeah.
judging.
So
at
I know
all,
you've
but I
been the
love that you
Backstreet
love that.
Boys.
Yeah.
I know. I think with
I
your,
love that for
did
you.
you go with your mom
Yes.
and Nana?
Yeah, I did.
And then I know, actually, my mom's been the Backstreet Boys too. She
Yeah.
saw Backstreet Boys, and Destiny's Child opened up for them.
Wow.
Like that was so back in the day. So
wow.
like actually,
I would.
Pam
if I could
actually
time
saw
travel.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that would be
not a-
amazing. Before Beyonce was the shiznit, really.
So out of your 3 here that you said you've seen 2 out of the 3, you're waiting
Yeah.
on Coldplay.
Yep.
Okay.
In Sync would be another one.
Wow. I didn't realize you were such
love this
a
because-
boy band lover.
Yeah,
That's
I am.
amazing.
That's all right.
They don't make like. Me and Mustafa were actually just talking about this yesterday. Music just isn't the same anymore. We
Yeah.
were like, I think we turned on Backstreet Boys yesterday, actually, and I was just singing my heart out, and I was like, wow, they don't make, like, they don't make music like this anymore. And there's no bands that are good. Like, it's just a one-man show typically nowadays. And it's not like, it's just so different. So I think that's why I have Backstreet Boys and NSYNC specifically on my list, just for that sole purpose.
That's actually a good point.
So nostalgic to me.
It's super, I guess, overproduced and everything, but you have 5 dudes.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and that's exactly. The thing is, like, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, I mean, say what you want, but they sang.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
And they sang.
They were talented.
I mean, it was produced.
They have very good songs.
They were good musicians and good singers.
Fun fact, and I'm sure you know this, that Nana used to call me Elaina Marie Cater Carter. Because I was so obsessed with the Backstreet Boys and Nick Carter specifically.
I was gonna say,
and that was my quote unquote name for a very, very, very long time. I mean, like, I grew up in my other nickname, you know,
it was after yeah, you were called that well after 8, because I remember calling you that for sure.
So I'm still a diehard fan still. And then Drake would be my last one, because I have to throw in.
Okay. So
I have to throw in a little bit of.
You haven't seen NSYNC,
right?
I haven't seen NSYNC.
So I mean, I saw some buzz. There always is, but potentially them maybe doing something.
Yeah.
Like all together
I've heard that.
Again. And you know what? I hate to say it.
They were saying that for a few years now.
But you know what? You know who's not like the golden boy anymore? Timberlake.
Yeah.
You know, people kind of soured on him a little bit because of the Britney thing, and all because of Janet Jackson. You know, why did she get like canceled or whatever? And
but he didn't. Yeah.
So everyone's like, he needs it.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, he kind of does. Like, and I think
I love JT.
No, I do too.
I love JT.
100% who doesn't love JT.
And you know what? I will be the first person to say I can separate music from a person. So like, if I don't agree, and it's like you said earlier too, like when you go to see a show, everyone is there for the same reason.
Right.
We all want to see this band because we love them, or we got free tickets, but I heard a song on the radio. Or everyone's there for a reason. And you know what? Even if they're up there and they talk, whatever, do it. I don't care about that. And you know what? And I'm almost like, everyone should grow up, because we had Grandpa on the show. You know, my dad. And you know, he was in Vietnam when music was like booming, like changing the world, but also a strong voice of anti-war and this and that. So I asked him, like, how do you reconcile like all this awesome music that you're sitting over there listening to that's talking against what you're actually doing?
War. That's a good point.
And it was great, because Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, that's one of my top 5, and me and Neil and Uncle Paul took Grandpa there to see them at the Palace. And he's like, well, you know, they're singing more about the establishment of war. It wasn't about us. You know, but because of that, the way
don't take things too personally, pretty much.
Right, but when they came home and the way they were treated, it was horrible. You know, because of all the media and everything, they're like, oh, these people are awful. But no, they're just normal humans. They had to go do something. A lot of them didn't sign up for it. He did.
No, they didn't.
You know, he knew, and you know, but he signed up and he did it. But it was like, so if he can separate, you know, those songs from what he was over there doing,
I think,
and knowing how he was treated when he came back, I think we can all go past a few little fucking issues.
Like you said, people got to grow up.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, it's
I
like,
agree.
So I don't care. Like, so JT, absolutely love him. He's got a great voice. I mean, fucking dances.
I was gonna say.
Dances.
I wonder how he still dances. I wonder if he like still has it. Or
you know
not.
What? You know what? He does. You know what?
Backstreet Boys did.
You know how I know?
Let me tell you, they did. I was shook. I was like, holy crap! It's like.
Do you know who doesn't?
I like time traveled back to like early 2000s. I was like, what?
Choreographed from like.
Do you know who doesn't?
Who?
Bobby Brown and New Edition.
Oh jeez.
He's up there huffing and puffing, doing dance moves. God bless him.
I mean,
it'd be like me. I've known him.
Some people don't age well, but yeah.
Oh no. But no, going back to JT, I guarantee he can still dance his ass off.
Yeah, you think?
But you know why I know
bet
that?
you can.
Have you ever watched the This Is It documentary about Michael Jackson when he was preparing for his his tour, and then he passed away before he went on tour?
No.
So they pieced together like all that footage of him like during rehearsals, so you'd see him singing the full songs, but that dude was what, 50-something years old?
Yeah, still doing it probably.
And his dancing was like still exactly, so JT...
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah.
Mike Jackson,
You'd think.
in his olden days, when he was still freaking dancing like a freaking freak.
Absolutely.
I mean, he died when he was like 50 or 51, and he was...
It's just engraved in you, I feel. Like, either you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you have it, I feel like losing it...
You always like have it. You just got to,
you just might be a little rough around the edges. But
rough around the edges, and you might have to like change things a little bit to compensate.
I don't think. Yeah, but even if JT gained like 100 pounds, he could still freaking. I guarantee it.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Just like me, I'm like 250. I could still save PKs like a wild man.
Exactly. There you go. Boy.
So, I did want to say, one thing. So, you mentioned smaller venues.
Yeah.
Me and Neil went to another show mid-February, Portugal the Man, at Royal Oak Music Theater. Have you ever been to Royal Oak?
No. Well, I've been to Royal Oak, but not the music theater.
Love music. Great, super small. And Portugal the Man, I mean, some people, it's like almost like you've heard of them and you like love them, or you've never heard of them ever.
I've never heard of them ever.
So I'm one.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm one of the guys that was kind of in the middle. I knew a little bit about them, and the songs I heard I loved. But then Uncle Paul went to see Boston Calling, this big festival in Boston, back in like 2017, and Killers were like the headliner.
Oh, wow.
And Portugal the Man was like the one right before him.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they've been around. They're from Alaska. They've been around for like 10 years. Cool. But yeah, it's like they have this huge following. Well, they announced this tour, and I mean, like I said, so they were doing this festival. I mean, they've done all this other stuff, and they're playing Royal Oak, which is like 2,000 seats. Main floor is maybe 500 people, and maybe more, whatever. And it was like $40 for main floor. I'm like, cool band, super small, that should be playing much bigger. Holy shit! It was sold out. We went there. It was completely packed. Like the main floor, even the steps, you couldn't go anywhere. It was borderline miserable.
Well, we
had 7 people. It was me and Neil, your mom, Kennedy Avery, Shaq, and Charlie. So we had 7 people. I mean, we got there. The line wasn't even in the building yet. We got in, and the main floor was already all packed.
Wow.
Before the opener. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, found the spot. Your mom and Kennedy go, we'll get you a shirt. So that's what I'm wearing today, my Portugal the Man shirt from the concert. That has absolutely no Portugal the Man on it. But it is the coalition against the privatization of Alaskan land, which I'm not against the cause.
No, not at all.
But now you understand why.
I'm like, Alaskan land? Why?
I never connected.
I had no idea. Okay, so it makes sense.
So it is Nick Country.
A little better.
Oh my gosh.
Nick Country. No, it is. It's a good cause. I mean, Alaska is sacred land. I don't care what anyone says.
I just thought that.
But no, it's actually.
They're from Alaska.
They are.
Way to go.
No, but it was cool.
I mean, it's a good cause.
100%.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to have to actually look it up.
But I did want a Portugal the Man shirt,
me too.
But, no, it was a cool show. Good band.
Oh, no.
And one of the cool things they did is they actually incorporated the opening band within their entire set. So they had like 3 members.
That's nice.
And one guy was playing a tuba. Wow. So this guy's playing a tuba with them all the time, and like keys and stuff. So it was super cool.
That's funny.
It was a fun show, but we were definitely surrounded by those people in love with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And I thought about some of your, you mentioned your Forever 5.
Yeah.
And some of your tastes over time. I remember. Jonas Brothers, we'll get into that, which, of course, you were like the prime age for Jonas Brothers.
Can you tell I'm like a boy band girl?
Right. But then you got on your Paramore kick.
Yeah. I remember Paramore is still great.
I remember getting you a couple of Paramore
from
hoodies.
Hot Topic. Yep.
But they actually just did a tour recently. You literally just missed them. They were here last summer. But
I don't know if I'd go see them. I mean, maybe for shits and giggles.
Well, you know what it is? Like,
I just don't know their newer music, so I don't know what they would be playing.
So can you really enlighten me about Paramore? What is
I
Paramore?
I never understood them really
what is
either.
Paramore? Or
What do you mean?
Like, what do they sound like? What is... who are
it's
they?
kind of like punk.
Do I know a song?
Misery Business.
Okay.
Are
Are they like punk? Okay,
the lead singer Haley.
Haley.
I forgot her last name, but she.
I've heard of them, but I just can't think of a song. Is what I'm asking. That's fine. You don't have to look it up, but
I'm gonna show you after the show because there's no way you don't know
cool.
at least one. Misery Business, I would say, is probably the most.
And you know what?
It's from their Riot album.
And they had. Didn't they have a song or two on like Guitar Hero?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on Guitar Hero, so that's what I remembered them from. I'm like, I don't really remember Elaina being a big Paramore fan, but you know. And then, I remember getting the hoodies, and I'm like, I've never heard of this band ever. Yeah. But I'm like, but it's a band. Wow, she's branching out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, yes, I've heard this song.
But the one.
All right, my bad.
No, you're fine.
Not my bad.
I remember too, and you
they've kind of died out a little bit. So
no, and that's what you said. Like, I don't know the new stuff. But
yeah, I have no idea.
Like, I think Paramore, when they came out, they had to have played a ton of their old stuff. Because
you would think
people haven't seen them in so long.
You would think, yeah.
You know, that's like, I mean, when you go and see a band after that much time, and that's where Billy Corgan screwed up in 2007 when we saw him, Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Yeah.
Like him and the drummer just got back together after everyone being broken up for 7 years, and they had a decent album actually, but that's all. Like, he wanted to play so much of that. Like, the crowd hasn't seen you in almost a decade. They want to see that.
They want to see the OG stuff.
Sprinkle it in and bring some of the stuff that hits hard or whatever. But you got to do it. And he didn't play that one right. But what I've noticed is, Liz Phair and Diggable Planets. I mean, they haven't been around in a long time. They haven't been touring, so they're playing all that stuff. And if they play some new stuff too, Porno for Pyros, they played 2 new songs. But. So they're kind of sticking to that, and I think Paramore probably did that. And I think if they come back again, that's when you'll see them kind of play more
of their newer stuff. Yeah, because they've already made their first round. Yeah,
they're still going to get.
Yeah, that would make sense if they did it that way.
And plus, some of them are just doing. I don't want to say a cash grab, but they're getting back together because people
they need
love
money
it.
probably too.
No, they do. They do need money. People.
I mean, I would.
I mean it up. I mean, I drove almost 4 hours in one night to go see Diggable Planets, and I mean, it was amazing.
Right.
And I mean, they didn't really do anything new. So, sometimes you find them and sometimes they miss. It just depends on, what you dig.
I know.
I always say, kind of like with clothes, wear what you dig, listen to what you dig. I mean, everyone's opinions, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The other one
do what makes you happy.
That I wrote down, and we're going to get into a little more depth in some of these, but I remember you having like the very first Rihanna CD. She was like 17 or whatever.
Yeah, Ponder Replay.
Whatever, I don't know. And I remember you saying, oh my God, she's amazing, her voice, and you were on to that one like from day one. Did you ever see her? I mean, I know we did. We'll talk about that right now, but
no, I think
I see her like when she was first coming out?
No.
Because you were still pretty young.
I was still pretty young, and... Yeah, I didn't see her. I only saw that one time with Kesha.
Right. So we went. So me, you, your mom, and then Jackie.
Yep.
Your Aunt Jackie.
Yep. We were on the hill.
We were on the hill.
I remember that.
We saw Rihanna.
It was super muddy, if I remember correctly. And
it wasn't too bad. It was just. It was like dirt. I think it rained the night prior. Right.
Yeah.
And it was just. I don't know why I went dressed the way I did.
Well, because you were like 16. 15 or 16.
Yeah. I went in like platform heels, standing on the hill, praying to God that I don't
but that was also
kill
the
myself.
First time you ditched us.
Yeah.
She had,
my cousins were there.
Yeah. So you were dressed because that's what you would normally do if you weren't with us. But we had like a family party beforehand.
Yep.
And then Nana had all the kids, and then we went off to Pine Knob.
Yeah.
And Kesha opened up, so you saw a bunch of like young chicks with like glitter and shit all over their face.
Dressed like fools.
Yeah. Right. But that was her fan base. I tell you what, it was a hell of a show, both of them. Kesha,
It was nice.
She was
a good
super
show.
popular,
at that
TikTok.
time. Yeah.
Too bad she didn't coin that or trademark that.
I know, seriously, no kidding.
But no, she totally did awesome prep, and Rihanna's voice was amazing.
Yeah, I actually ended up when I parted ways with you guys, I ended up like 3 rows back from the stage. I ended up really close.
That's awesome.
At Pine Knob?
Yeah.
Oh, way to go.
Yep, we ended up sneaking down there.
Yeah.
That's before their security got freaking crazy. Now you can't. It's
well,
like
you used to have like paper
airport
tickets,
security.
so someone run off and you'd have
Yep,
to
that's
trade
exactly
a
what we
ticket,
did.
and you get down there, and by the time they're on, everyone's
2 people
standing
go
up
down with the
anyway.
2 tickets. One
You're
person
like
comes
this
up with
big,
2.
so big old fat burger like me trying to go down. Hey, no, I'm supposed to be here.
Yep.
I got a pretzel in one hand.
Nacho cheese sauce.
We found a seat
Popcorn.
that was like higher
Popcorn
up,
at a fucking concert.
and then we just like jumped over like in the seats to like get closer and closer, and then before I knew it, we were
See, it's
a
a lot
few
easier
rows
for
back.
I like that.
Yeah, oh
For
yeah, we
someone
were
like
young,
you.
and
Well, you're young.
I mean, who
you're
was
a
gonna?
girl.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want.
yeah. No, I mean nobody said anything. Now, if I tried doing that, I'd get cut.
I do. Yeah, no shit. Dude, that's what I know. It's like
People take it too seriously.
I get to shows. I'm
just-
so early, and I'm like,
The
everyone's.
seats are empty.
Well, but you're right up against, literally, like the barricade. There's the band, but you're standing like this.
Right.
Like, I mean, what happened to like kind of turning this way so more people could
Just
fit on the
relax.
railing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Calm down.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start dry humping you. I just want to fucking get in a little bit closer. So the
Lumineers.
other one I
Lumineers?
remember is kind of it's before the one Rihanna and Kesha.
Yeah.
Was Jonas Brothers.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh my God, that was
You
hands
were-
down one of the best shows. I was hyperventilating at that show.
Well, you were like the biggest fan ever.
Yeah, I was.
And Michael Early Rage wasn't, right? And again, super talented guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick plays like every instrument. Joe sings, Kevin guitar, and I mean they were all playing, singing. So, but it was funny because they announced the big tour, and they were playing Pine Knob,
Yep.
and we were like, yeah. I mean, it just sold out. We couldn't get tickets, and we were like crushed.
Yeah.
And then, what she didn't know was for her birthday, we had already gotten tickets, but it was in Columbus. So me and your mom, you and Kayla go down to Columbus on a road trip to see the Jonas Brothers at Nationwide Arena where they play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it was a really good show.
Yeah, it
I will
was.
never
Was it
forget.
amazing?
It was.
Oh yeah, I'll
It was
never forget
great.
you opening those tickets.
I remember I ran down the block
Uh-huh.
screaming
Yeah.
like a crazy person. Our neighbors probably thought I was insane.
Uh-huh.
No.
Like she had no idea
Just
really
happy
at
to see the
first.
Joe
and,
Bros.
in Columbus.
It's not an emergency, everybody. It's just I finally
Yeah,
get to see,
just the Joe
get
Bros.
to see the band that
Just
I've
the Joe
loved my
Bros.
whole life. Yeah.
I love how you
But
put
no,
that
we
out
went there
there.
and
Joe
actually
Bros.
Demi Lovato opened up.
Yeah, and
you know,
she's
which-
actually really good too.
Mm-hmm.
She has a great voice.
And that was another questionable parenting and this is exactly, remember I told you, the same exact spot where we went to see Smashing Pumpkins in Columbus. Because they have like the outdoor little place that they play, then they had the bar.
Yeah.
We went in and they had dinner before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, at that point, you guys had to have been like 14.
I was going to
pushing
say 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I think, worked your way up to the front at some point. Me
Yeah.
and your mom ended up getting some beers, and then we met up with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were pretty well on your own, which is about the same time for me at the Aerosmith. I was 15,
Yeah.
and we were all on our own. And
No, I mean, it was, from what I remember, I don't know what happened, but something happened to where everybody just started running towards the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember, like, in front of me, seeing, like, an empty runway, pretty much, to, like, get to the front, but there was just an empty wheelchair. And I ran and I jumped over that wheelchair, and I just kept running, and I lost Kilo for a second, but I got up there. Yeah.
You'll always find each other.
Yeah.
You'll
You'll always
find
come
each
back.
other.
It's fine. We were at Joe Bros.
Joe Bros.
100%.
Yeah.
No, and that was the beauty of it, because in that little downtown, we walked to the show. We
Yep.
walked back to, but on the
was
way
so
back,
nice.
I remember we went to that same bar we had dinner at.
Yep.
And we were going in, and we got them, and the guy looks fast, starts laughing. He's like,
yeah.
"You can't bring them in here." We're like, "Well, we came in at dinner."
Yeah.
He's like, No.
No.
No,
Right.
it's really, we had no business.
Good try though.
Yeah.
It was great because we needed that
for
one. We
effort.
needed that one more
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
And probably some cheese
Tried.
sticks.
Yeah.
I do remember we stopped at the Waffle House on the way home.
Oh yeah.
God, it's so good.
I mean, whenever you're not in Michigan and there's a Waffle House, you have to go.
100%.
Like, how
Yeah.
are you not
If
going to
nothing
stop at a
else,
Waffle House?
I agree.
For the hash browns
Why is-
themselves,
Just-
because you can put so many different
Yeah.
things. You get
Why
chili
is-
on them.
Just
Why
for the
is there
experience. Shit, just let me sit in the booth for a minute.
Yeah.
Let me just soak it all in.
Right.
It's just, it
If you're
feels
lucky,
different.
you see the chick that worked there. Did you ever see the video where she swats the chair
I was
away?
gonna say there's bound to be a
No.
Oh, there's
fight.
like this big fight at this Waffle
Oh,
House. And people are throwing
jeez.
chairs.
Oh yeah.
And the chick that's working there looks to be like maybe 22 years old, and she's whatever. Someone throws a chair at her, and she just goes like this and just throws the chair away into the.
Oh my
It was
God.
hilarious.
Great
I mean,
video.
Yeah, it's
hey,
hilarious.
I'm here for the drama, but
So one of my favorite bands, and actually Neil's also, is Rusted Root.
yep.
So you
Saw
actually,
them.
yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
So I remember, I forget the year, but I want to say Avery was like 5. So Avery would have been 5. Kenny was about 7. You then would have been, I don't know.
I mean, if it was in 2010, I'm so bad at math.
That's what am I? 17.
A little less than that.
Probably about 16.
16
Yeah.
sounds right.
And
Yeah.
I saw Rusted Root was playing the Taft Theater in Cincinnati.
Yes.
And I'm always a sucker, like you said, small venue, especially a
Gotta
theater.
go.
And I mean,
I know.
with Rusted Root, with their musicianship or whatever in a theater is just awesome. So I remember saying to him, well, what do you think about making a little weekend? A couple days, go down to Cincinnati. We'll see the show. And then the deal was on the way back, we had to hit the outlet malls.
Yep.
Coming home, we had to go there, and it was like
Yep.
95 degrees. But I remember going, and Kenny and Avery at least knew Send Me On My Way from the Ice
Yep.
Age movies.
Yep.
Which is what you really knew
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
but
me too,
You had a
yeah.
little better appreciation of music.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm
The
not
part that's-
really a quote unquote fan, but every
Right.
time I went to see them, I mean,
You can't-
it's a reason why I enjoy going to shows in general. It's just
It's
that, like I said,
impossible
the
not to have fun.
experience, the vibe that you feel, how they're having fun, how intimate it is. You can't not have fun.
Well, the one thing I remember you saying is, man, I really think it would have been more fun if I was down in the front with all those people dancing. Because we were like up in like
Right.
the little
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Well, because we had the little kids. I had no idea. And,
Experience.
we totally could have been down there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
live and learn.
I mean,
But I remember that was the first merch that
yeah.
Kenny and Avery got. You didn't want to get
So
one.
cute, yeah. Well, I was too cool for school, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But do you
I didn't want
remember
any
though?
proof
Actually,
that I saw them.
Cincinnati was super cool. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been like in downtown and hung out at all.
No.
I remember
nasty.
vaguely.
It was. I was really impressed with it. I mean, you've got like the river and shit there too. But we ate at like a seafood place. It was actually a really nice place. And then we were walking back to the hotel, and we walked through on the back side of the Taft Theater, and the door was propped open, and you could actually hear
Them
the
practicing,
rehearsal.
yeah.
Like the
I
the
remember
sound
that.
check.
Warming up.
Yeah.
And I opened up the door and I kind of ventured in. And I mean, I remember like the kind of neighbor, like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, oh my, we're going to get in trouble. So we didn't venture too far. But and then we saw him, of course, killed it, Because it was like, there'd be years, like you don't see them for a few years and they come back, you go see them, right? And every time you go see them, it's just like,
I can't wait till they come
eventually
back
get back
in town.
together because they'll need
Well,
to.
they'll.
Yeah.
They gotta be.
But then the second time we were all together was at St. Andrew's Hall.
Yeah.
Which,
That was fun.
of course, an iconic venue.
Yeah.
And me and your mom were down there. It was actually for her 40th birthday.
I was going to say, didn't like Paul
Yeah.
go?
So
okay, I remember.
Me and your mom
that.
went down there, and, we'd seen them a few times together. And I'm like, oh, they're playing St. Andrew's. We'll go stay downtown, get dinner for, your birthday and everything. And I said, there's this bar. I think it was Jacoby's, right?
Yeah,
right by
Jacoby's.
there.
Oh, yeah, it was a
I said,
surprise.
right. I said, we'll go eat dinner. I said, we can actually walk there to Jacoby's.
Yep.
And then when we walked into Jacoby's, you were
Surprise.
there, Neil, Paul,
Yeah.
Leah, I think Lindsay was there,
Yep.
Gina, so everyone was all there. And actually, the chick from the band, showed up to get carry-out food when we were
Yeah.
all sitting there.
Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. But yeah,
That's fun.
That was another one because I mean that was the first time I think where you truly appreciated it.
Yeah,
You know, and you were
yeah, probably.
maybe 19 or 20 because I remember sneaking
Yeah.
you a drink.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was close. It was close
Yeah,
to me
you're
being
very
21.
close.
It was like I was right
You're
there,
probably
but not
20.
quite. Yeah,
It would have been August before your 21st birthday,
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
And then I remember we were eating dinner, and then all of you guys walked past the big window, but your mom didn't see anyone. And like actually, everyone saw us and like hurried up and
We
like,
almost
ran,
blew it.
Almost blew it. And
We would.
yeah,
Well,
that was the
good.
first time.
But it's
Gina
also very much of my mom to not notice either.
Yes.
She's kind of oblivious when she
100%.
needs to be. So
Well, that's how I end
it
up with
works
this
out.
shirt.
Yeah, it works out.
That's how I end up with
It
this
works out
shirt.
great. Yeah.
But no, that was the first. Yeah, my
Genesee, what
yeah,
did
my
I say?
Nick Country.
Yeah, Nick Country.
Not the
I
New
thought
York
it said
Knicks, it's the last one.
Genesee.
Huh? Hey, Jealousy,
night.
Gin Blossoms. Is that your favorite
the
band
night.
too? You and Thomas?
I love Gin Blossoms.
Of course you do.
No, I don't.
I know you don't. But no, that was the first time Gina saw Rusted Root, and I remember her being like, "Oh my god, that was like the most fun I've ever been at." And actually, she made friends with those dudes. Remember?
She makes friends with everybody.
Well, that's true. It's impossible to not make friends with Gina.
Yeah.
She's just a good time.
So, I mean, the ones we'll touch on real quick, but we went to Lumineers in 2016.
A lot.
It was at Meadowbrook.
We saw the Lumineers a lot.
But that one in 2016 was awesome.
That one was
where we
great
saw them
because they
literally-
showed up right by us.
Yeah, they showed up on the little stage.
And we didn't know,
They
yeah.
were, like from here to the end of the table.
Yeah, it
They
was
did,
really
like,
cool.
4 songs.
What
They
does
cut-
that mean? They showed up. Like,
They
Like,
just,
literally,
we were like, way back the stage was, I mean,
It was
we were
like, you know,
on the
Meadowbrook,
grass.
so we were on the lawn.
We were on the lawn, yeah.
But they
Okay.
had this thing set up that was covered, so we
We had
stood
no
right
clue
by
what it
there.
was. We were by it though, but we had no idea. We were like, okay, this is weird.
At one point, the entire band walked up. That no one
And they
really
just
noticed,
were
and they
right
on
there
this little
performing right in front of
stage.
us.
oh, no.
I mean, I
kidding.
posted
Yeah.
the picture. Like
I know.
it almost looks
I heard
fake.
the story, but I just.
Yeah, they were right
Yeah.
there.
Know
And
how
they
that
played like 4 songs,
happened.
Yep.
and one of them was
Just about.
"Subterranean Homesick Blues" by Dylan, which was amazing. But
Wow.
they do, like, he comes out in the crowd. The last time we saw him when,
Yeah.
when you were pregnant.
Yeah, they're really interactive. That's one
Right.
thing I do like, and I have to give them credit for. And they're a cool band to see live. Like
Right.
they're very, very,
Yeah.
very
Shows
talented.
are very similar.
Yes,
you know.
that's the only reason why I'm like, maybe I don't need
Well,
to see the Lumineers
I
for
know.
a
Well,
long
I've-
time.
Me and your mom seen them
It's
4
'cause I'll-
times
yeah.
since 2016.
Wait 10 or
But
12 years.
they are. Like, I'm like, all right, this is our 4th time. I don't think I'm going to go to a 5th. But then
Yeah.
I went to the 4th one. I'm like,
They
man,
come back and you're
they're
like, you gotta
but
go
it was-
again.
They're so much fun. And
Yeah,
like, I'm
they are.
usually not
They are a
an
good time.
interactive, sing back with
Yeah.
the crowd type person. But for that band, for some reason, I don't mind it.
Yeah,
You know?
and the crowd is just nice. Just
Yeah.
bands like
It's
that
a
in
good-
general.
it's
As long
a-
as it's not a
it's a
rap
good
concert,
vibe.
it's
It's a
fun.
good vibe,
I mean,
you
and
know?
even those are fun, but the crowd can
Absolutely.
be.
Well, it gets intense, right?
Yeah,
You've
pretty
so you've
intense.
seen some crazy. You've seen Lil Wayne like a couple times.
Yeah,
haven't
I've
you?
seen Lil Wayne a couple times.
The one I really want to talk to you about, though, you saw an awesome show that very few people in the whole world saw.
What was that?
That was the Eminem and Jay-Z
Oh, yeah.
at Comerica, because they
Yep.
only did 2 shows. They
Yep.
did one at Comerica Park and they did one at Yankee
In
Stadium.
in New York. Yep.
And I think they
went to go see that
flip-flopped.
one.
So when you saw them, did Eminem close it out or did Jay-Z? Because I thought they flip-flopped, like their hometown, they were the closer. Or whatever.
Yeah, I want to say Jay-Z started and then Eminem closed out, but then 50 Cent came too.
Did he? Okay.
50 Cent was at that concert.
You were
and
there
they
with
figured it out.
John and Jenny.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I was. Yep, my uncle took me to that one. I think I was
Yeah, I remember-
15 years old.
He's like,
It was
I want to
great.
take Elaina to the Eminem
Yeah.
show. Like,
Yeah, huge Eminem. I mean, I'm a huge Eminem fan in general, and so was John. So
Right.
it just kind of worked out that way. But
it's hard to say no. I mean,
hands
it's such
down,
an
a great show.
experience, But of
And
course you were.
we were pretty close too.
Right.
Yeah, you
You
were
must
like
have had
on
a
the-
blast.
on the-
Yeah.
field
Oh,
or
it was so
whatever.
fun. That was so fun.
God dang.
Lil Wayne was always fun when I saw him. I saw him a couple times. With like Young Money,
Yeah.
obviously was like, I want to say Drake was at one of those shows before he was super big. Obviously, because
Not
Lil
the-
Wayne put
not the Lil
Drake
Wayne
on.
versus Drake,
Not
but
Lil
like
Wayne versus
when he
Drake,
came
but
out as
before
like a
he was,
guest or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. before he was big enough to be verse someone. You know what I mean? He was just a little
kind of like when Tupac was in
baby.
Digital Underground.
Right.
Everyone forgets.
Yeah, those were all
song,
super fun.
Yep.
I saw Kanye West,
That's right, you did.
which was a great show. I mean,
That's another one. People are like, oh, he's whatever. You know what?
yeah,
Kanye West is him, whatever, but you can't argue. I mean, the guy is talented.
I heard he's a pretty
he's
good rapper.
so talented.
I mean,
you
not only
guys.
music,
I heard
I
he's
mean,
a pretty good rapper.
Yeah,
He's-
he's a decent rapper, but he
He's
also
just-
overtook like the fashion industry
Yeah.
for like. So I mean, he obviously has something, and
Yeezy's huge.
appreciate it whether you like him or not.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Kanye West fan. I really am,
Like
and
the
he was good.
Westerns.
I was super young when I saw them though. So you're talking about questionable parenting. I don't know how I was allowed to go there.
To what, Kanye?
Yeah, I was young. My uncle took me with my cousins. I mean, it was so bad
that's it
at one
right there.
point that
Wait,
my
wait.
uncle stood up and walked out and left us there. Swear to God. And we were just there. I mean,
But you
it was like the
stayed.
graduate. Yeah, it was like his graduation album. So like, and I don't know what other album it was, but his early songs. So like Gold Digger and like things like that. And I remember
I love Gold Digger.
huge,
Totally
huge
gold on the
woman
playlist.
on
Hell yeah.
screen that was like naked, all gold. It was like I was like, oh, we probably should not be here.
Jamie
but
Foxx.
it was a great show. It really was.
So
Good.
we have one show coming up.
Yep.
Going to be my
We
first
do.
country concert ever, Kane Brown.
Mine too, actually. Well, I mean,
No, you went
on
to
the Dixie.
No,
Dixie
you
Chicks.
went to the one not far from here, the farm
Oh,
show.
oh my God, I forgot about
Uh,
that.
Is it Luke Bryan?
Luke Bryan. Yeah, I saw Luke
Yeah,
Bryan.
you saw Luke Bryan.
God, see,
Farm
I
freaking-
knew that I forgot
Yes, it
some.
was you and
Yeah, the
Moose,
farm tour.
and then Paul and Leah.
Yeah.
We dropped you off.
That
and
was
then
also
Holly
a
drove-
great show. There were babies in backpacks.
Well,
I
At
bet
this
that
show.
was a great show. And Paul is.
you know what? I
come
have
back
no
and said
problem
it
with
was
that as
awesome.
long as they take care of their ears.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and if they're, and if they need to go,
And they were
go,
so
you know.
they were so far back from the stage that it really
Right.
wasn't that loud anyway. But that was a really really cool show.
That was why, like, that whole Rusted Root trip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and even, like, Avril Lavigne, I mean, yeah, you were, like, 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
but, I mean, for me, you were 4, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Because you're right when I met you. You know, but whatever. But I
Yeah.
always wanted to, like, I always loved music. I always wanted to get you guys to go experience that,
Yeah.
especially at an early age. And if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't, you know. And, I mean, you've got a pretty good resume of shows you've been to.
Yeah, I
mean,
do.
You're not very old. And then, you know, Kennedy's will go to pretty much anything. And then
Yeah.
Avery, he was kind of like me when I was, you know, in high school, where you kind of feel it out. You go to really what you want to go to, but
Yeah.
you're not going to waste your time if you don't love it. And
Yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah. Eventually he'll grow to love it though, I think. I mean, it's
because you know what,
hard
sometimes
not to.
for me it was like when I went to a Lollapalooza.
I
and,
would
like,
love to go to Lollapalooza.
You know, well, this is when I would travel. So it was just at Pine Knob. But you have the second stage. You were walking around. I mean, so many bands. I mean, and that's where you like felt that environment.
Yeah.
You know, in the community and all that stuff that people talk about. And then you're like, wow, I didn't really know this band, and it's awesome. Where you go to the second stage. I mean, I'll never forget seeing Tool on the second stage, which, I mean, Tool's one of the biggest bands
Yeah.
ever, but when I saw them, there was like 100 people there.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So it's like catching those early ones, and then, you know, Wilco was another one, see him in the second stage at the Horde Fest. You know, I think that was the first time I ever saw him when, like, AM first came out or whatever, so yeah, we got Kane Brown. I think you have another one coming up, don't you?
I do. I have Jesse McCartney.
Okay. Back to your kind
Throwback
of boy. Right.
blast
I mean,
from the
back,
past.
Who's
the
that
theme,
dude?
The theme
Is
is.
that a girl or a dude?
It's a guy.
That's a guy.
It's a guy.
So I always kind of get him confused.
Totally just kidding.
Like,
Probably with Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter, absolutely.
R.I.P.
Yes. And yeah.
R.I.P. That was
That's
a
sad.
death that really hurt the soul. But no.
No,
Jesse
that's
McCartney's
exactly how I
alive
was
and
getting
well.
confused. Yeah.
And I'm going to be seeing
That's
him on
crazy.
the 30th. Yep. And then I'm going to see A Boogie.
See, that's fine. I'm not.
It's a
familiar with that
rapper.
at all. Okay.
Yeah, he's a rapper. I'm
Where
going with
at?
my sister-in-law. You know, I think Pine Knob?
Okay.
Okay.
One of the
actually-
outside ones.
The
I think it's Pine Knob.
the one rap show.
It's not.
I didn't get the
Pine
tickets.
Knob. Yeah.
So,
It could,
But
well, if it's not Pine Knob, then it's going to be even better because it'll be Meadowbrook,
Meadowbrook
or
or
Freedom Hill.
Michigan. Yeah. Freedom Hill.
no, I think it's Pine Knob.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I want to say, that just sounds right.
The one rap show I want to still go to is Cypress Hill. It's going to be at the Fillmore.
I don't know who that is.
It's more what are they? It's
Insane in the membrane.
Okay, I know that. Okay, I know that. I know that song. I know that
That's
song. If I could go back, I would, like a rap group that I would love to see is the Big Timers.
Okay.
I would have paid so
Now
much money,
that's-
or like
I don't know who
Tupac
the
and
Big
Biggie.
Timers
I would pay big bucks.
Yeah.
Big bucks.
The Big Timers?
The Big Timers. That's
Wow.
the
I'll have
group
to look
that
it
Lil Wayne started in. I think he was like
Okay.
14 years old.
I was going to say, is it somebody that
Yep.
that I would know?
Birdman.
Birdman.
Lil Wayne.
Birdman.
I can't. I think Juvenile. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Your mom would know that.
She would. She would.
She's-
But yeah, she's the one that
But
put me
she's
on.
too afraid
Okay.
to sit
I
down and answer the hard questions on
God.
this show.
I was like 4 years old rapping the Big Timers. So
No, so one, I am looking forward to Kane Brown, but
yeah.
before we go, and I almost forgot, we went to Monster Jam like a few
Yeah,
weeks ago.
we did. It was
Holy shit,
know,
was that amazing?
It was really cool. I didn't know what to expect, in all honesty. I was hearing a bunch of different things from friends that have gone in the past. Like, luckily they told me bring headphones for your son and all of this. And people that know my son know that he's kind of a chicken. I mean, he's still young. He's, still a baby.
guy.
He's a year and a half. But he actually really enjoyed it.
Oh
and
my
we
God.
were front row.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was crazy.
I mean, I've never been the one, and so you don't know what to expect. And like, I remember the traffic was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm
There was
like,
also a Wings game and
right. No, the Wings game was earlier, so that was traffic coming out. I'm like, this is
Don't matter.
and,
Like, still traffic.
Well, what I
Yeah,
didn't
still traffic.
realize is that Ford Field was a complete sellout for
Yeah.
Monster
Monster
Jam. I never
Fuck
I
yeah.
never
Yeah.
realized it was completely packed. We had the best seats ever, and seeing those things just up close.
yeah,
and
crazy.
the jumps they're doing, how small the actual field looks on Ford Field with those out there. But then when they actually would get out of the truck and like wave, and
Yeah.
they look like a little Lego guy.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And then you're looking
Yeah,
at
those
them.
trucks
It
were
was nuts,
crazy.
dude.
I was not expecting. I mean, you
So
know,
I mean, because live events are live
We
events,
have-
right?
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like that. The whole fan base was connected, Or like actually tomorrow, me and your mom are going to Bill Burr down at Joe Louis Arena.
Oh,
the comedian.
really?
I know. I'm so excited.
oh, that's gonna be funny.
He's-
That's
my
gonna
God,
be
he's
fun.
hilarious. So
Yeah, he'll be
we're gonna
fun
hit the
as
casino in Greektown.
Oh,
have
that's
dinner, go to Bill Burr, and then make a little trip out of it. So.
Day trip.
Absolutely.
Why not? That's
so,
awesome.
It has been absolutely awesome having you on.
Thanks for having
I
me.
would say definitely well
Thanks,
worth the wait.
Elaina.
No problem.
Hopefully
Thanks,
you
guys.
enjoyed it.
I did. This is
Able to
super
get away.
fun.
Yeah.
So make
Yeah.
sure to check us out, Two Dudes and Killer Tunes, the YouTube channel, so you can watch us, Spotify, all that other crap. Also, Facebook, Two Dudes and Live Tunes group. Check it all out. We'll
Some
catch you
of the
next
best.
time. See ya.
Bye, guys.